Years back, while listening to a radio station all the way from Owerri, Heartland FM, there was this jingle that they always play, reminding us that corruption is a serious crime that kills a society developmental tenet. It advises us to work together to fight corruption. It's our duty to rise and speak up against corrupt practices, else we'll be the ones to bear the brunt of corruption. Irrespective of our political affiliation, we must all bear the brunt of corruption if we don't rise up and fight it. When P2B was campaigning during the last presidential election, he said to fight corruption is easy. When the principal head is not corrupt, when his family members are not corrupt, you will reduce corruption by 70%. Well, P2B is not the principal head. Tinubu now is the principal head. 7 months into Tinubu's administration, his government has been rocked by corrupt scandal. It seems we are going to experience worse corruption under Tinubu than we did experience under Buhari. Don't get me wrong, we experienced corruption in high proportion under Buhari. The Accountant General under Buhari, Idris Ahmed, was accused of embezzling 80 billion naira. But it wasn't at the early stage of Buhari regime, as we are experiencing now in Tinubu regime, just barely 7 months into office. It's so unfortunate that rather than curtailing it, we are doing high comparison between the two. Sadly, it seems that when it comes to corruption, women have taken it to another new level. Their audacity is just too loud and high. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, asked the Accountant General of the Federation to transfer the sum of 585 million naira to a private account. This is against the Public Sector Financial Regulation Act 2009. This regulation should have been a deterrent, but Nigerian public holders don't even know government regulations, not to talk of adhering to it. One Halima Sheru, the national coordinator of the National Social Investment Program Agency, was suspended a few days ago for the same thing that Betta Edu did. Halima Sheru and the former Minister Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development under President Buhari, Sadiya Umar Farouk, are involved in the transfer of 44 billion naira to private and corporate accounts. So despite all this, the Minister Betta Edu still went ahead to authorize the transfer of more than 500 million naira to a private account. Since these documents became public, the Accountant General came out to say that they declined the demand from the minister. That was why the minister herself authorized the transfer. She came out in defense to prove that she has the right to transfer such funds to public accounts, which is contrary to Section 713 of the Public Sector Financial Regulation Act 2009. It says personal money shall in no circumstances be paid into government bank account, nor shall any public money be paid into a private account. Any officer who pays public money into a private account is deemed to have done so with fraudulent intention. So her attempt to justify the transfer of public money to private accounts is not tenable. There is a reason the law was made to prevent people from transferring such money into private accounts. And the worst part is that when this administration came into power, they condemned outrightly the mode of transfer the Buhari administration handled the palliative and monies they paid to poor people. They said that it was not trackable, the number of accounts and the number of people they paid the money to. So they decided to abandon the mode of transfer that Buhari administration did. Now, they are now moving money to private accounts to give people in cash. All these are not tracked. Let's not even go into the authenticity of the people they gave that money, whether they reach the people or not. Why do they always think that they can eradicate poverty by giving people cash? All the money that Buhari shared to people as social benefit, what did he achieve? How many people did he live out of poverty? So why do they keep doing something that does not work and hoping that miraculously it will work? It's simple. It's because they make a lot of money for themselves. They steal all this money. Otherwise, why should they decide to give money out in cash? And considering that 100 billion naira was budgeted for this same Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs in this year's budget, what could go wrong with all the billions? Just like when they say they will give millions of people 8,000 naira as support and palliative because of petrol subsidy removal, what can 8,000 naira actually do for a family of four? Even now that they claim to be giving people 20,000 naira, what can 20,000 naira do for a family of four? 20,000 naira cannot sustain them for even a week in today's Nigeria. Besides, feeding is not the only need of man. A father has to pay the kids' school fees, he has to pay his house rent, he has to transport himself to work every day. So 20,000 naira given to a family of four is too small to make an impact. In fact, even if they give it to one person, it's still too small to make an impact on the economy or to lift them out of poverty. Even if they insist on using the money to lift people out of poverty, then they will need to up the amount to about 200,000 or 500,000 naira. At least that 200,000 naira can buy many bags of food. That 200,000 naira can buy many bags of grain that can last them up to 6 months or even more. It can even start a business, so they will know that their feeding has been taken care of. They will now have to work for other needs, concentrate on their job if they have any. They will use the remaining they have instead of spending them on feeding. They will use that for transportation, paying house rent, and other needs. The best way to spend this kind of money on the people is to look at the Chinese, the Vietnamese model. The Chinese model has something like that. They will need to spend it on vocational training for the people, even if it involves flying them abroad to learn how to manufacture little things. You start by making the market research. You get into the market, major market in Nigeria, ask around, ask them this product, this little product, this cross, this item, this opener, the little things that they sell in the market. You ask them, where do you import this from? How much are you selling it? These are the things you look at and said, okay, we will create an industry that will support this. So instead of these marketers buying them abroad, they will be forced to buy them from the people who produce them in Nigeria. That's how you start. And the second part, the second chain reaction that will support the industry is to find where they will get the raw materials. If the raw materials are available in Nigeria, you have to make sure that the industry also is created. You have to find the people that will develop it in such a way that they will supply the people that you will train to manufacture them. There is a serious power outage in Nigeria, so you have to create industrial clusters that are very close to the market. All the markets you identify in Lagos, Onitsha, Aba, all the major markets in Nigeria, you have to create these industrial clusters around the market. When the thousands that have gone for training, or maybe they were trained in Nigeria, they will now be given equipment, all the imported machines that will be used in manufacturing these items. The government will now turn all this as loans. If all the machinery and everything that the person is given as a startup is worth like 5 million naira, it will become a loan. That 5 million naira will be repaid over the years, maybe 20 years or even 30 years. Yes, and the moratorium will start at least 6 months after they start operations, because you can expect someone to start repaying a loan when he hasn't started earning anything from the venture. So at least give them some time to start earning something, and by 6 months after they started, they will start repaying the loans. This way, you create a circle that will make a serious impact on the economy. You already have the supply chain. They will be busy all year round because their market is there. People will start placing orders for their product. That's where many of them will start to expand because they can no longer fulfill orders on time. That's how you create more job opportunities and increase your GDP. You continue using this method till you cover almost all the market, all the items that are sold in the market, you cover all of them. All SMEs will manufacture all the products sold in Nigeria market. So that way you have more impact, you get more people employed, the government earn more taxes. Everyone is happy. Instead of all the deception, they take money and say they are paying into private accounts because the person is the facilitator or in charge of the distribution of money. Who comes up with all this nonsense, for crying out loud? At the end of the day, whether they are stealing or not, the 20,000, 50,000 doesn't make any impact. The economy doesn't in any way benefit in the sharing of this money. While P2B was campaigning, he illustrated how he was able to save money and do a lot of projects as governor in Anambra State. He said he eliminated the middlemen. Any money meant for any project or ministry go directly to them. With this, he reduced corruption in civil service and improved job efficiency. The reason why you are seeing all this money flying around from one hand to the other is because they don't intend to give it to those that need it. They intend to share it among themselves. How many of you were beneficiary of the President Muhammadu Buhari social program? I guess none. Yet, Tinubu wants to continue with such despite the corruption scandal that rocked the previous administration. It's sad that we are just moving around the circle, recycling politicians that don't care about the growth of this country, rather the growth of their personal bank account. 7 months on, and we are talking about this corruption. We can only imagine the propensity of corruption that we will experience after 4 years under the Tinubu administration if this is not nipped in the bud. Thank you for watching. Please do ensure you subscribe, like this video, share, drop your comment reaction in the comment box. Have a lovely day.